At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 300 programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
None.
Greenway, what's going on, my brother? Courtesy of Grey Duck Vodka and Grey Duck Spirits. One of the better defensive players in the history of Minnesota Vikings football joins us in the 651 Carpets Plus studio each and every Friday this time of the year. And here he is, speaking of one of the best defensive players in the history of Vikings football. Jared Allen is calling us about 10 minutes from now.
Let's go.
From New Orleans to chat about him after, in his fifth try, becoming HOF and good morning.
And good morning. Yeah, I got the saw it come across last night after coaching some girls basketball. I saw that Jared got in, and it's just kind of a weird feeling as a teammate to see that happen. You know, obviously I know he's been fighting for it and going after his last five, and I think in my opinion, I'm like, hey, like he should have been in a couple of years ago. I mean, 12th all time in sacks. I mean, disruptive. Yeah. I think from an entertainment value standpoint, like what he brought to the team and the NFL was almost unmatched with his energy. I mean, look at our fan base and how we embraced him when he came up here from KC in 08. And I when you talk about somebody who he's hard to define of what he brought to a team. I would say if you always look for that, how do you define grit or that person that has that factor?
Yeah.
That was Jared. He's hard to beat. He's gonna be relentless. His approach is relentless. He has fun. He's gonna talk smack. He's gonna fight you. And he's just a guy on the football field that was obviously excellent, but he made everybody else better, and he raised everybody's level of play. And I think that's where you look at HOF. That's what you get, and obviously the stats have to come with it.
You've talked a lot about what makes a great teammate. It's all the stuff you're just talking about. These are the things that you always wanted, right? He was one of those guys, Jared Allen, that if you could like pick the kind of person you want on your team. It's all the stuff that he brought, right?
Yeah, I mean, and fun.
And
like
fun, right?
every
You
day
need that.
was an adventure with Jared. Like he just never knew it was going to come out of his mouth. And I think, he said this in a quote. I don't know if it was last night, but at some point in the last week, about his time in Minnesota, about how he matured here. I mean, because he was around a group of guys that were married, that were kind of put together. He came from KC as a little bit of a hot mess.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm saying that as kindly as possible. But the dude came in and he's like, not only is he going to keep his level of play there, but he's also going to settle down and become like a great community member, a great teammate, and great for the organization. And so he kind of matured in Minnesota and became this HOF player here. I mean, this really, really became that player. And I'm assuming he's going to go in as a Viking.
I assume he is too. I don't think he's going to go in wearing Carolina teal.
Yeah, well, I when the Vikings go Ring of Honor, right? The Vikings go Ring of Honor a couple years ago, probably now. I'm like, that's a smart play because now he's in our Ring of Honor. He's got to go, 6 years here. He's going to go in a Viking when he does go in. Obviously we knew eventually he would go in. Now he's going in. So.
I mean, I believe this was his last year of normal eligibility, and then he would have had to go into the senior circuit.
I thought he had 10 more years. I thought it was 20. No, I could be wrong. I don't know those rules. I don't know.
I'm not sure either. But he was on year 5, right, of eligibility.
Yeah, he was. Yep.
And I could very well be wrong, but I thought you had 5 years to get in.
There are rules that I don't know. Yes, it's something. But the point is just grateful he got in. I think in that position, it's a lot of it's stat based, obviously. So the fact that you're 12th all time and you're the only one in that world that's not in, other than Suggs, who will be in.
Suggs will be in.
Yeah, for sure. It's like he's going. The hardest one is like the Hutch got in as a guard because like how do you equate it? Like there's no stat, there's no number. My buddy from college, Marshall Yanda's on the bill on the ticket. He'll go in eventually, but he's a guard, so he's gonna have to wait his turn and take some time.
Yeah, it takes a while.
And so that'll be pretty cool when that happens too.
You said you never knew what was going to come out of Jared Allen's mouth.
Yeah.
This could be an induction speech worth watching.
Yes.
Right? I mean, he might say anything.
He will, but, Jared's also an emotional guy. Like, I think he'll be emotional.
You think he's going to blubber?
I think I'm not saying he'll blubber.
Ask him.
But we can ask him that. But he's an emotional guy. And I think he's one of those, I think for him, knowing his background and how he grew up to how he got here and that path and the ups and downs and that's special to it just means more for a guy like that who's gone through the ups and downs and the downturns and the upturns and so fun to see.
I've just looked up the Vegas line on will Jared Allen blubber during his induction speech.
What is it?
Yes, -190.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Well,
the money on it.
Jared, HOF is joining us earlier than anticipated, which is an absolute treat. And we're talking about this guy.
Here it is. 2 receivers left and right. McCown takes the snap. He steps up. Jared Allen got him. And there it is. Jared Allen has done it. 22 sacks. A new Minnesota Vikings record. Now he has to run down Michael Strahan. His next sack means he will have more sacks in a season than anybody in the history of the National Football League. Jared Allen, well done.
And joining us now from New Orleans, indeed, is
HOF.
Jared Allen with yours truly, Paul Allen, Paul Charchi, and his former teammate Chad Greenway is with us. And Jared, we know you're on short time, so let's make this 5 minutes count. You made it, my man. You get to keep the yellow jacket forever. Jared Allen, HOF. That's amazing, man. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, it's I don't know if the totality of it's sunk in yet, but it's definitely a cool thing, especially when you start getting text messages from old teammates and other guys in the hall, and and they refer to it as welcome to the forever team. So that kind of stuff has been pretty cool.
Yeah, Jared, hey, this is Chad. Man, great. I just sent you a text, obviously, last night, and congratulations this morning. And I was just talking a little bit about your story, your background growing up, and then your ups and downs, through college and then early part of your career. And I was saying that Jared might be emotional in this speech. You're an emotional guy. That's what made you so good. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out when you're doing your speech. We're going to bet on you crying, but does it mean more? Does it mean more because of the path you were on?
Yeah, I don't know. I think for me though, I think the crazy part about it was like and you know this. You don't put Hall of Fame at the top of your goals list when you start playing. for me, making it to the NFL, getting drafted, that was my first and only goal growing up, right? And then to accomplish that, I had to reset goals, and so I had to go through kind of, scary thing. And then, like you said, navigating the life of having, success at a young age, and getting, getting in a little trouble and screwing that up, and having to really, refocus yourself, not just as a ball player, but just as a human being, and want to be a productive part of society and that kind of stuff, and really deciding, what do you want to be? And it was great, right? And so you start resetting goals to do that, and you start, for me, it was always about the respect of my peers and respect of others, and I always kept a list of all the guys that were ahead of me on the sack list.
I saw that.
I constantly wanted to chase greatness, and to try to win Super Bowls and stuff like that. So, this is a byproduct of all that hard work and effort that went into just trying to be the best player I could be, to be the best teammate I could be, to be the guy that wasn't going to be the guy that why we lost, right? I never wanted to be that guy who people said, oh, he got a big contract, he wasn't deserving, or all that nonsense. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't think the emotion has hit me yet, because this was never the ultimate goal. It's the ultimate recognition of a job well done. But, like I think I was texting with you and some of the teammates, it's really, I don't view this as an individual award by any means. I had a lot of great teammates. I had a lot of great coaches. I had a lot of great, support along the way from family and friends and different people throughout my life that, that'll probably be the emotional side when I get to actually, say thank you, in person and stuff like that, whether it's through a speech in Canton or we get to see each other face to face. So, the honor of the hall hasn't made me that emotional, but, again, I'm sure that all changes once you get into those hallowed halls and you see the history and you're speaking with people and you got all your friends and family in person.
Jared Allen, HOF.
HOF.
Last one from me here, 69. When we saw you in 2007, okay, Vikings at Arrowhead, it was your first game off a 2-game suspension. Did the trade to Minnesota in 2008 turn around a lot of things for you? Like, is there a chance you would not have been in Canton had you not been traded?
I don't know. That's for God to know. I know this. I firmly believe this. God gives you what you need, not what you want necessarily, right? I can sit here and wonder why it took, why I was the first ballot finalist and why it took, my 5th time being on the finals list to get in. But, patience is a virtue. And I think you're always trying to learn something. And so, I don't know about that. All I do know is me getting traded to Minnesota was the best thing, not only for my career, but for my personal life. I got to meet, so many great human beings, Chad being one of them, Ben being one, Kevin, Pat, the list goes on and on, Sugarman, just everybody from, Rick and Rob and the front office, Brad Childress, like it was, and, have a great partner relationship with Tom Lamphere, and so many people throughout the entire organization, not just the locker room. And for me, it was a stepping stone. I went from being a young guy, hair on fire in Kansas City, just football into a locker room where guys were ultra competitive amongst themselves. Not that we weren't in Kansas City, but it was a new level in Minnesota, from a defensive standpoint. And then guys that were at different aspects in their life, Chad married with kids, Ben married with kids, Hutch married with kids. And so you really start to, be able to mature not only as a football player and athlete, but as a man. And, again, Minnesota was everything I needed, everything I wanted, and that's why it still holds a very special place in my heart today.
Well, you definitely made everybody around you better, and that's the sign of a great teammate and great person. So thank you for all that, and then and also thank you for all those tackles when you went under blocks and around blocks trying to get sacks. So I do appreciate those. And then just last real quick,
don't tell Ben that. Ben's so pissed at me.
Hey, that's Ben's problem. Last thing for me is how creeped out were you at Hutch's mustache just when he knocked on the door?
Yeah, well, dude, that's the thing.
Come on, dude.
Aim looked at the reel or whatever they released on social media, and I'm just like, he seems butthurt or whatever. Dude, what people don't know about that is, like, my publicist comes into town. She's never been to my house in Nashville. I'm like, all right, so my antennas are up, right? I already know from 4 years of not getting in that, you expect either a knock or a call on a certain day. But we were 2 hours away. I had, our daughters had volleyball, so we're trying to get the kids fed. We're trying to get out the door. I was literally just painting the chicken coop out back. I came in because I had to do the Jim Rum show. Then Amy was like, we got to get the girls fed. We got to get out the door. And then the dogs start barking, so I poke my head around the corner. Like, they never actually knocked, and I see a cameraman with Hutch and his mustache. I'm like, I guess this is the knock.
Thankfully, you didn't have a gun in your hand.
Not really. No, it was in my vest.
Exactly. I figured.
I literally had to zip my vest up because I was like, yeah, okay. Like, we don't want to do that on camera.
Love him.
And so, we were cracking up, and I was like, and then they come in and they just take over your house. And I'm like, hold up, you got to give us a heads up. We have a life we're living.
Seriously.
Moving furniture around. And Aim's like, I got to use my kitchen in like literally 30 minutes. We need to wrap this up.
Jared, thank you very much for the time. We know you're on short time with a lot of obligations down New Orleans way. It means a lot to us here at KFAN 9 to noon. And I know to Chad that you took time to call. We thank Tom West, also with the Minnesota Vikings, for assisting. God bless you, my friend. Job well done.
I appreciate it.
HOF well earned. We'll see you soon, all right?
I appreciate it again, man. Thanks to everybody in Minnesota and all you guys and the support you've always given me. Appreciate it.
That's beautiful. That's Jared Allen. Last night announced
HOF.
We'll be right back.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability. ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, it's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.